I'm Elsie.
And I'm Debbie.
And we're two sisters Southern cooking.
It's Debbie. We are together again today and we are going to make something that is so yummy. You guys are going to want to try this. Now I have warm water. It's about 105 degrees right now. You can do 105 to 115 degrees of warm water, and I have a cup and a half here. And I'm going to be making cinnamon rolls, old-fashioned cinnamon rolls. And I'm just going to sprinkle across the top my yeast. This is 2 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, and I'm going to put in just a little bit of sugar. And let me see. Let me grab a spoon real quick. Just going to gently stir this up. And then once that is done, then we'll put it in there and we'll start adding in our ingredients. This is going to take probably about 10 minutes to proof, and once it's nice and bubbly, we'll be right back for our next step. Stay tuned. If you like our content, please like and share our page. Thank you. Hey y'all, so we are moving on to the next step. So look at our yeast. It has proofed beautifully. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my yeast in there, and I'm going to add in my butter and my eggs. I'm just going to stir this just a little bit. Okay, so I have mixed this together. So what I'm going to do is just put my dry ingredients together in a bowl. So I'm adding in my flour. I have dried milk, and sugar. I'm just going to mix this together here, all my dry ingredients. All right, we're going to start adding this in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and start adding in my flour. I'm just going to do maybe a couple cups, and then I'm going to add in my shortening. Now we are using buttered shortening, so I'm going to just start adding this in. It's going to be loosey-goosey, but I'm going to separate this into pinches here. This is going to be a loose batter. Done here. I'm going to turn it up on the speed here a little bit, about 5 minutes, and then I'll be right back, guys. Here's some side notes. Our yeast was proofed about 20 minutes. It's about 10 minutes longer than I had wanted to proof it, but it performed beautifully. We also had melted our butter and had a temperature of about 110 to 115. And also our egg was whisked prior to putting it into the mixer, and it made a very easy recombination. Hey y'all, I'm back, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my dough out. Now it is going to be a little loosey-goosey, so don't be alarmed if it looks a little wet. Don't be alarmed though, okay? Yeah, it is sticky. We're going to slide it right into our oil bowl over here. And I'm going to cover it up with a towel. We're going to let it proof for a little bit. Then we're going to come back, roll it out. And then we're going to make us some delicious cinnamon rolls. And we're going to put cream cheese icing on it. Elsie's recipe. We made cinnamon rolls the one time that Suzanne Lawler came to visit us. Remember that?
Yep.
That was Elsie's version of cinnamon rolls. Alright, it's still a little loosey-goosey, but we're going to go ahead and put it in here and let it proof. We'll cover it up and put it somewhere nice and warm. All right. All right, we'll cover this up and we'll be back shortly. Here's some more side notes. You want to make sure that you oil your bowl. We sprayed our bowl with oil. You can use canola oil, vegetable oil, whatever you want. It's your oyster. But make sure your bowl is big enough to be able to handle the size of your dough. You don't want to hinder it. Hey y'all, while my dough is proofing right now, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to make the cinnamon sugar combination here. So I have a half a cup of granulated sugar, 2 heaping teaspoons of cinnamon. So all we have to do now is take some butter, put it on our dough, and then sprinkle this over top of it. Just one step closer to some delicious cinnamon rolls. We'll be back. More side notes for this recipe. I'm going to change it from 2 teaspoons to 3 teaspoons because you need that extra zest in your cinnamon roll. It makes such a difference. It's delicious. Hey y'all, it's Debbie. So we are back and we're going to make Elsie's version of the cream cheese icing to put onto our cinnamon rolls. So we're going to do 6 tablespoons of butter. And softened. Make sure it's not melted, make sure it's not cold. It has to be softened. And then 8 ounces of cream cheese, softened, room temperature. If you don't have it at room temperature, pop it into a cup of hot water for about 10 minutes. And it will chill it right on down to your temperature, your room temperature, because you do not want to mix these together like this because it will make it like clumpy. So go ahead and put this on. Go ahead and get this whipped up. Stay tuned. Hey y'all, I'm back. So I'm gonna pop in my powdered sugar. I'm gonna do 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. Go ahead and I'm going to start it on slow because I don't want a flour shower. And then I'm going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, so I whipped this up about 2 minutes. on high so it'd be nice and smooth, and it turned out beautifully. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to put this in my bowl. I'm going to leave it at room temperature until I am ready to put this onto my cinnamon rolls. Now remember, my cinnamon rolls are still in there proofing, so everything is ready to go. And we will be back when the cinnamon rolls are ready to be punched down, kneaded, and then rolled out, and then we have to proof them again. So it's a little bit of a process, but we'll get there. These are old-fashioned cinnamon rolls with a new fangled icing, Elsie style. All right, one more brick in the wall here. Then we'll have some delicious old-fashioned cinnamon rolls ready for you shortly. We'll be right back, guys. Y'all, we're back and our dough is done. So I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of flour out here onto our surface, and this is going to help us to work our dough. I'm also going to put a little bit of flour on my hands because I need to punch down my dough, and it's still kind of sticky, so go ahead. We're going to put it out here onto our surface, and I'm going to knead it up a little bit. So so soft. It's a really soft dough, so just going to mix this together. Don't want to overwork it. Just going to knead it enough so it pulls everything together. And I'm going to go ahead and start rolling out my dough here. I'm going to try to put the dough into a rectangle. Just make sure that this is not going to stick. It is a very soft dough. Okay, y'all, I am done. Almost. I don't want it to be too thick, but I want it to be thick enough. So I think this dough is good enough now that I'm going to go ahead and start putting my butter on. And I'm just going to start spreading my butter out. This is very soft butter. It's not melted, it's just soft. Softened butter. This dough is very pliable. It's soft, it's so sweet and tasty. I know you're not supposed to eat raw stuff, but it was tempting to try it, and I liked it. It was good. Hey, sis.
Hey.
All right, just a little bit more butter right there. What you think?
I'm going to be offering a lot of tips in this area. Just things that I learned with dealing with dough. Do not punch this dough down while it's still in the bowl. It will stick to your hands and it'll become a big mess. So my recommendations is to put it on a floured surface. Make sure you flour very nicely, flour your hands, and then you can punch it down. At this time, also make sure that you are adding a little bit of flour at a time to keep your dough from sticking to your pastry mat. Make sure that your butter is softened, not melted, not cold, because you want to be able to spread this without ripping your dough. And also make sure that you're using a lot of sugar and a lot of cinnamon. Also, a key to this is using your bench scraper to roll up your dough, because it'll prevent you from having your dough stick to the surface of your cloth or your pastry mat. Also, I was going to use the bench scraper to cut my dough, but Elsie recommended that I use a serrated knife, and it worked fantastic. Now we were able to cut them and put them in our pan. Also, another tip on this as well, make sure that you have probably a 9x13 pan, depending on how many you make out of this or how large you want to make them. Make sure that you have a parchment paper in the bottom of the pan. It makes such a difference with baking, with cleanup. You don't have to put oil on it. You can if you want to. We don't. It's added extra oil. It causes for burning. We don't want to do that. So it also made it easier for us to remove the cinnamon rolls to cut up into pieces at the end when we had done ice our cinnamon rolls.
Okay, y'all, so cinnamon rolls ready to go and get proofed again, and we'll get ready to bake, and it's gonna be good, y'all. We'll see you guys shortly. All right, the rolls are ready to go into the oven. I'm fixing to put them in. Hey y'all, we are back, and look what is done. Oh my God, I'm super excited. I got a little ahead of myself and started icing these because I couldn't wait to see what it looked like with them on the cinnamon rolls, and I'm telling you, super duper duper yummy. So this is an old-fashioned recipe. This is Elsie's cream cheese icing. We're just going to lay this across here. The cinnamon rolls are warm enough to melt just a little bit, but not enough to where it will melt it completely. So you still will be able to see the cream cheese on the top. It's going to be so good. I'm just going to lather this up with lots of cream cheese icing. We will have a detailed description of everything in the description box that's either above or below our video. So if you're ever confused about where the recipe is and the instructions, it's right above or below, depending on if it's Facebook or YouTube. Look at that, yummers. It's thick, it's sweet, it's buttery, it's creamy, it's got a little bit of tart from the cream cheese in it. It's just so good, y'all. All right. We're gonna go put this on our dessert table and we will show you what it looks like with all the other stuff that we baked and cooked today. We'll see you in our next video. Have a blessed night.
Last several tips of the day. Make sure that you put your icing on when it's nice and warm and just so soft. And also use all of your icing. It's so good.
I'm Elsie.
And I'm Debbie.
And we're Two Sisters Southern Cooking.
Please like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you.